I'm back. What I got here today is the bucket off my 580 CK tractor, 1968. Now I took this bucket off last year because the way it was sitting, you know, the tractor's not running and this bucket was face down in the ground and I couldn't pull the tractor around on the property at all. So what I did was I got these pins out of it, took it off. And what I'm doing here today is because I got to move this tractor again. I just got my engine hoist here, see? Engine hoist has another use, look at that. So I just hooked it on an arm there and pulled it up, and there's these pins. I didn't show you because I had all my hands involved in the jack, but I got one left to do on the other side. I'll show you that one, but I jacked it up back and forth and up and down until I can get these lined up and put these pins in. And on the other side, show you over there. So yeah, it's pretty handy. Pretty handy rig. When I did this last year, I didn't have this engine hoist. I picked that up in the classifieds for cheap and put a coat of paint on it. But I just used a floor jack under these ends here. And man, the floor jack would just bury in the ground. This thing's so heavy, right? That's as slick as anything. So here we are. So what I got done, see, I got it just about lined up there. And looks like it wants to go down a little bit. If I put it down a little bit, that'll come back a bit to line up the pin. So let's try that. Yeah, let that down a little bit. Now let's try and see. Pull that pin out a little bit. No, it's not down far enough. See, it's going to fall. I'm working by myself here. It'll just fall down. So what do I gotta do? I gotta let it down some more. Probably till it almost bottoms out on the back there. So here I am over here, the valve on this cylinder. And let's just take a look and see if that thing drops a little. Oh, that probably went too far. That probably went too far. I don't know. It might be all right. It might be all right. I don't want to get my fingers pinched in there anywhere. Okay, let me try and get that wiggled in there and get the pin in. Okay, I think I got it in the right spot now. Let's try that. Ah, there it is. Look at that. Good stuff. Okay, these cylinders are going to have to be rebuilt at some point, but that's not my purpose right now. I'm just want to get these rams back in place because I got to move this tractor soon. And yeah, I'd been wondering if that engine hoist would be sufficient to do that, and that was just slick. That just worked perfectly. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's almost another use if you got one of these things laying around, man. That's handy. And there's that one. See, that's got that little extra cylinder on this side. Two main lift ones and one auxiliary lift there. I'm not quite sure the function of that. Does anybody know what the full function of this little one is? I know I got a manual. I could go read it, but if you're familiar with these tractors, maybe you could leave a comment down below and let me know what that one's for. I'm still learning this tractor as I go. Anyway, I'm going to be trying to get this thing started in the next couple of weeks here. Remember last year I had the tank out, cleaned it all out, painted it up, and I'm not sure if, like I say, the injection pump might need work, but this thing hasn't been turned over to start in over 15 years. I've rolled the engine over, I've rolled it over manually, and you can look up in the top there, you can see some links to some videos where I went in the gearboxes last year, checked them all. I checked the clutch, checked the manual transmission, I checked the final drive, and cleaned all that up. So all these preparatory steps. The other thing I did was I got the radiator serviced at a shop and put new hoses in here, got that all set up. And there's a few other things to do. I mean, I can still start it, but there's the power steering pump's not in. and a few other things to do for sure. And all the cylinders have to be looked at some point. Okay, I'm just going to go through a little checklist here of what I'm going to need to do to get this thing started. Now, I know that the link for the injection pump right here, that's got to be hooked up, so I'm going to need a cotter pin for that. These are pins for the bucket. That doesn't have to go on quite yet. And for other people familiar with my channel, you know that I've explained these linkages here, and I've shown a video with this steering column right out of the tractor. And you've also seen videos of this flow control valve out and disassembled and put back together. Those are all on my channel, so if you haven't seen those, check the top there and just go to Everyday Projects on YouTube and you'll see different projects for this tractor. Now, back to my list. Last year I fixed the leaks in this tank with some JB Weld and I painted it. I got that installed. There's new filters, primary and secondary filters in here. I've changed the engine oil and there's a new filter. The injection pump is still an unknown. I'm going to try and start it just the way it is. Sometimes old diesels will kick over, you know, with nothing done to the injection pump. So other times they're all gummed up and, you know, they'll have to come apart. But I'm going to try it first. I need a nut for the end of here and probably a lock washer for the end of this linkage that goes to the linkage that goes to the hand and the foot pedal. Okay, that's the linkage that goes back there. Okay, and I'm not going to worry about any of the hydraulics for now. This is a bypass I've got on here. So this basically comes out of the pump and it would normally go to the cooler on the front and then come back in. So I'll just bypass that with a loop. So the hydraulics will just bypass back to there. And other than the hydraulics, it will feed the clutch here. So the clutch will be fed from internal pump. And you know, so basically the whole idea is to see if I can get the engine started and if the tractor will move forward and back and drive it around a bit. As you can see, there's no steering wheel, so I'll have to get a steering wheel for it. And the seat was completely toasted, but you know, that's not a big concern right now. So we're not going to worry about any of the hydraulics. The radiator's good. And I did that last fall. I filled it up with new coolant, and let's see. It looks good. And I had taken the valve cover off at one point, and I checked everything in there, and I oiled it all. There's a new pulley on the water pump here that was completely rusted off because when this thing sat for all the years in the bush, leaves got in here, wet leaves, and just rusted out this pulley. So that's a new pulley. And I painted the fan, and I don't have a belt on it. I'm like I said, just to start it up, I'm just going to see if it'll kick over. And if it fires up, then I'll get into, you know, the belts and all that. And as I said before, the power steering pump is not in there either. Starter's here, so one of the jobs I got to do is I got to wire the starter. And I've got a key switch. And I've got a key switch to put in the dash here somewhere. All I've got is an oil pressure gauge. For now, the tack was frozen solid and finished. It was actually run off of, there was a generator on here instead of an alternator. The alternator would go right here. I'm going to put a one-wire alternator, but that can wait until after I've test fired the engine as well. Yeah, the tachometer here and the RPM counter and everything was run off of the generator. But without a generator, I'm going to have to figure out eventually an electric tack if I want to have that in here. That's all down the road. But for now, I just want to see if I can figure out enough to get it going. So key switch, wiring down to the starter, and I don't have a specific battery for this tractor, but I've got some batteries, and I'm going to probably put a couple of batteries together in parallel, so it's still 12 volts, and but I'll have a couple of batteries joined together, give me more amps to turn this baby over. And yeah, we're gonna see if we can get this thing started up in the next bit. Okay, so stay tuned. And we'll see what we can get done with this in the next bit. I'll take you along as I get it ready. Okay, thanks for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe. And like I say, if anyone's got any comments about those cylinders, feel free to put them down in the comment section below. Okay, thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon. Bye for now.